Hey friends, welcome back to another video in my Rebuilding The Sims 2 in The Sims 4 series. So today I am working on a house for the Omaki family who live in River Blossom Hills in The Sims 2, which is the world that came with Seasons. So I'm building all of these houses in Brindleton Bay. If you are new to this series, welcome. We are trying to recreate these very odd houses from The Sims 2, which is always a challenge. I think I really like how this one turns out. The original, very strange. This right part that doesn't have a roof currently, in the original, it's just like concrete up there. They don't even use it as like a patio or anything. It's just a roof. Very odd. So I do change that. And usually what I like to do when I start these is rebuild the shell as close as possible to the original, and then kind of go from there and make some tweaks. I even tried to use the same sort of windows and window colors and placement of them. They do get switched up a bit just to make it look more realistic and just nicer. Like here I'm getting rid of this weird diagonal wall that they had. The Sims 2 really loved their diagonal walls, got rid of that. Just kind of squared it off, made it a little bit easier to furnish and whatnot. And I also added standard roof pieces on this side that was just flat in the original. I don't know what the deal is with The Sims 2 and like rooftop patios and just like flat roofs. I wonder if it's just because that was a new feature in that game, because I think in The Sims 1, like roofs were just kind of automatic. I don't know. I haven't played that game in quite a while. I can't remember if you can do just like a flat roof that you could have your Sims actually walk on and stuff in that game. So that might be one of the reasons. But yeah, got rid of that. Just put a normal roof on there. And yeah, just trying to figure out the layout here. They had a fireplace in the living room. So I put a fireplace in here. And yeah, The Sims 2 had they also had different styles of furniture that were classified. Their classification was honestly probably better than The Sims 4. But they had one, I think it was called Art Nouveau, which had a lot of like expensive furniture and a lot of like very I don't know, sort of like almost like high fashion furniture, if that makes sense. I'm not really familiar with furniture design in that world. But they had a fireplace that was very much of that style in the original version, which we really don't have anything like that in The Sims 4. So I went with a much more kind of New England coastal sort of look for this house, since it's in Brindleton Bay, which is kind of based on that region anyway. And yeah, I think it worked out well, but obviously a little bit of a different vibe from the original house. And the original version just had one bedroom, a bathroom, and a big landing space upstairs. But I was able to kind of rework the floor plan a bit. So there are actually 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms upstairs, which I think, certainly works out better, gives you more space, which is always nice. And yeah, the downstairs where there's one larger bedroom, which used to have that diagonal wall. And then the other room kind of right next to it was a bathroom. But I changed it up a bit, and the kind of smaller room will turn into a small office. And then I was able to fit in just a smaller bathroom downstairs, which I think worked out well. And then they have this greenhouse that's actually attached to the house, which is kind of interesting. I haven't really seen that before. So yeah, I thought I would make sure to recreate that. I did it a little bit differently. So there's kind of like almost like a vestibule between the greenhouse and the actual house. So like a little entrance room. I think that made a little bit more sense, rather than you walking straight into it from the kitchen or from outside. Because I'll put in an exterior door in a little bit too, just to make it a little bit more accessible to get to like the backyard and whatnot. And it took me a little while to figure out floor patterns and wall coverings and everything. I'm pretty sure I cut out a lot of that. But yeah, the tile that I used in the kitchen and near the front door, that sort of orange diagonal stone, it's actually pretty similar to the original version's flooring that they had, at least the style. The color's not quite the same. We don't have really a matching color in this game. But yeah, I thought that looked pretty nice. It kind of matched in pretty well. And yeah, like I said, this house is for the Omaki family from The Sims 2. And you'll see them a bit in the screenshots at the end, so make sure you stick around for that. But they were also in the thumbnail, if you noticed. And yeah, so the two people who live in the house currently are Gabe, who is the dad, and then Jules, his daughter. And then Gabe was married to Alexandra, but they got divorced because she wanted to go off to be a dread pirate. So, you know, it's giving our flag means death. I kind of love it. She's going to go off and become a pirate, and, you know, we love that journey for her. Not super great for her family, but here we are. So, yeah, so we got Gabe and Jules living here. Gabe is supposed to be a high school teacher, teaching at the same high school that his daughter goes to. So she's, you know, very embarrassed about that. But Jules is very interested in becoming a journalist, which I don't think we really have that career in The Sims 4. Like, we have an author. Oh wait, yes we do. I had to look it up. Yeah, it's just part of the writer career. You can like choose a journalist branch once you get to that level, and it looks like that's just part of base game, like that career branch. So, yeah, sorry, didn't mean to be spreading misinformation, I guess, on the internet. But yeah, so she is interested in being a journalist. She's also very interested in the life of Daisy Greenman, who is, I guess, her cousin or step cousin. I don't really know how that would work. Since it's the Greenman family, which I also did a build for and I've recreated, because is it Rose? Is Rose the mom's name? Oh man, I've already forgotten. But she's a plant sim, at least in The Sims 2. And her daughter is also a plant sim in The Sims 2, which you can't really do in The Sims 4, as far as I know. But yeah, so Jules is very interested in writing about Daisy's life, you know, as a child plant sim. That's kind of like her bio in the Sims 2 version. And yeah, I'm actually working on Jules's bedroom right now. Based on her kind of fashion and everything, I assumed she really loves pink and white. Those are kind of like her favorite colors and color combinations. So kind of leaned in heavily with that. Used a lot of items from high school years and the that newer kit. I'm blanking on the name, but that had a lot of really great items too, for her style. And then yeah, I did that small bathroom next to her room. Rather than doing, it was a really large bathroom in the original version, which I didn't think was all that necessary, especially since I ended up putting an extra bathroom upstairs. And now I'm working on the kitchen for the house, and the Sims 2 season came with a lot of very country and cottage themed items. So I thought I would lean into that a little bit here in the kitchen. So I used the counters and cabinets from Cottage Living. And then I think, yeah, the fridge is also from that. And then the stove is from Parenthood, I believe. So yeah, I think this turned out pretty nicely. You know, the original house had a very interesting mix of styles. They had a lot of these sort of more country looking items, and then they had these like very high art and fashion-y sort of you know, items in their house. So very, very interesting. But yeah, so did that. I think that worked out nicely. I did make the kitchen cabinets and stuff a little bit smaller here, just so I could fit in the like a dining room table, since the bathroom actually took a little bit of that space away. So yeah, had to adjust a little bit, but I think the space still feels fine. The Sims were able to walk around and everything without any issues. And I didn't mention it here, but yeah, Gabe, who lives here, is the brother of Jason Greenman from the other build. So yeah, they're biological brothers. And then yeah, Gabe was married to Alexandra, who left to be a pirate. So I'll also be creating a house for her. She didn't actually have a custom-made house in The Sims 2. She was just available to move in somewhere. But I think it'd be fun to put together a house for her. I did create her in order to kind of play with the genetics to make jewels. So yeah, so she is already created. She's in the world. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have her live kind of down by the wharf or pier area in Brindleton Bay. I think that would make sense if she's a pirate. She wants to be able to jump on a boat as quick as possible. And I also tried to dress her as much like a pirate as I could. So yeah, I think that'll be quite a bit of fun. If you have any thoughts on what her house should look like, please let me know. But yeah, now I'm just here in the living room. I wanted it to feel very comfortable, very, just very cozy. Has also a mix of styles in here. We've got this kind of older TV and the TV stand, these kind of squishy couches and chairs. But then it has this like nicer bookshelf that they have that they, got somewhere. And the, fireplace is kind of like a different style too. So yeah, I think I really like the mixing of styles in here. It feels like a real house like that, I guess. It feels very lived in. And this build is also semi-limited packs. I kind of started out with some ideas of packs that I wanted to use, so I kind of filtered that way. But I did just add in Growing Together because I really wanted a piano in here. I thought that would, fit in the space really nicely and would make sense in a family house like this. But yeah, so I did try to, kind of limit the number of packs I was using. Plus it just kind of helps with building. It kind of helps keep me focused on building rather than trying to scroll through the entire catalog trying to figure out what to use. So yeah, and then here, this would have been the bathroom in the original version of the house, but since it was like a pretty decent size, I thought it would make more sense as like an office, activity room. So yeah, that's what I use that for. And here in the greenhouse, I do add in the flower arranging table from Seasons and the woodworking bench. I thought it'd be nice to have those skill items in here. And then of course, a bunch of different planters. When I was playtesting, I did go through and actually have them plant a bunch of things. So those will be filled up for you. If you want to download this off the gallery, that is available for you. And yeah, just added a couple of decorative items in this little entrance area with like the gardening tools and the hose and a rug and everything. I thought that was kind of nice. And I will say, when I was planting things in the greenhouse, I did try to plant a couple of fruit trees in the larger planters, but they would not take. And I don't know if the walls need to be like medium height in order for trees to grow in there. It kept saying that there wasn't enough room for it to grow. So that is my assumption, is that maybe it needs to be at least medium wall height in order for trees to grow inside. But yeah, if you've run into that, let me know if that is the correct assumption that I'm making. But yeah, so I don't end up putting any trees in there. I just put in other herbs and vegetables and other fruits and stuff. So yeah, no trees, unfortunately. But so yeah, now I'm just in the primary bedroom decorating that. I don't use these like dressers and end tables from, I think they came with Seasons very often. Just since it has that like very specific design on it. But yeah, I thought it would kind of make sense in here since this is also based off of one of the Seasons expansion packs. And yeah, and I also used a lot more carpet in this build than I normally do. I thought that would, kind of make sense. I'm imagining, this house is probably is pretty old, but people love to put carpet over hardwood floors. Back in the, I don't even know, probably 40s or 50s, 60s. So that's what I'm imagining happened. Some people put a bunch of carpet over all the hardwood floors. So there's probably beautiful floors underneath these carpets. So, but they just haven't, taken the time to remodel or anything. It's just kind of like an older style house here. And this primary bathroom turned out to be a pretty good size. I was able to fit in, 2 sinks in there for, both of the parents when they live together. And yeah, so for this other bedroom, since, no one would really be living in it, I just made it like a guest bedroom. That way, if, family wanted to come and stay, they would have a space. And yeah, I just put some like fake toys in this basket here to kind of, you know, represent that, and put in some different artwork. But yeah, pretty simple overall. And yeah, for the other bathroom here in a minute, this one will have laundry in it. So there is laundry in the house as well. If you saw my last build about the kind of duplex that I did, I also had trouble fitting the laundry hampers next to the washer and dryer. So that will be in the primary bedroom in this one. And yeah, in the kind of landing area, there wasn't a lot of space for, you know, activity items or anything. So I just put in a bunch of the photo frames. So if you want to, you know, put any photos in there, I didn't, you know, take any with this family and put them in there. I also don't know if they would upload through the gallery. I don't know. I don't trust the gallery to really upload anything. So yeah, I didn't really bother to do that. But yeah, obviously there is plenty of space there if you would like to do that for your Sims, if you move anyone in here. And if you didn't notice, I did recolor all of the windows. I thought the white with the black shutters just looked a lot nicer than that sort of tan color that I started with. The tan color was the color from the original house's windows, but I just didn't think it really fit very well here. So yeah, change those, and then yeah, originally this, what is now a deck, that was just plain roof. There's just like nothing out there. So just kind of wasted space. So I thought I would turn that into a nice deck area with some more planters and a sitting area and the telescope. And I thought it would make sense to have that off of the primary bedroom. And now I'm just working on the exterior of the build. And, you know, with this house, I actually didn't put it on a foundation, which is a little unusual for me. I usually do have it on a lifted foundation, but I don't know. It just kind of worked out nicely, I think, with this house to have it right on the ground. I imagine, you know, just since it's a much older house, it's just how it is. I don't know. I don't know if that's really accurate or not. I'm sure, you know, older houses have foundations, but maybe they're lower to the ground. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I thought that worked out nicely. And then, yeah, I did this little back patio area with a grill and the picnic table. I also have bikes here for Gabe and Jules. And then I imagine that this one was Alexandra's bike that she just didn't take with her. And they just kind of moved it behind so they don't have to look at it all the time. But Gabe just can't bring himself to, you know, get rid of it. So just kind of hidden in the back here. And yeah, I added in the treehouse item from Growing Together. I thought maybe an interesting, if not a little sad bit of lore could be that, you know, they started building this treehouse back when Jules was a child. You know, Gabe and Alexandra were working on it together, but then they got divorced and left, and the treehouse was just never finished. So in the screenshots, you'll see that the treehouse is just like partially built. But yeah, not finished, not ready or anything. I thought that was kind of, you know, an interesting way to illustrate that, even if it is kind of sad. And here I'm using the vines and stuff from Cottage Living, which I really love. But at first I was trying to use the vines that were in the debug options. But it seems like the debug ones don't snap to the walls, so they don't go down with the walls when you try to use like cutaway mode. So that was really annoying to play with. So I switched those out for the ones that are actually in the catalog, and those seem to work perfectly fine. The only downside is that they do cost money, so I guess you have to pay if you want them to actually work properly, which I guess is fair. And since I'm now finally a week ahead on all of my videos, I'll probably wait 2 weeks to do Alexandra Omaki's house. So if you have any thoughts on that, please let me know. I'd love to hear them. But yeah, it's really nice being ahead, but it does make it a little bit more difficult to incorporate, you know, any feedback that I get. So apologies if I don't get to something right away, but it just works nicer to be ahead. So in case I get sick or something, I'm not scrambling. And now I am finishing up with the lighting for the lot. If you're new to my videos, you'll find that I like to do the lighting last, just so I can see kind of how everything looks with all of the, different items and how the light is affecting them. And yeah, I don't know. I just really like doing it this way. So yeah, I use quite a few of the spotlights. Here in this bathroom, I was going to try to do my thing where I put these wall sconces above the mirror. But that mirror is just too thick. Every light that I tried to use was just cutting into it. So it's pretty bright, so I just didn't end up doing that. And yeah, used a lot of table lamps in the guest room there. Did use a ceiling light in the primary bedroom just since those lamps weren't really doing enough. And I do like to use a mix of different lights in a space. Like for this living room, I will have, the ceiling lights, but if you just wanted to use the floor and the table lamps, you could fairly easily turn off the ceiling lights. So kind of go that route with it. And yeah, I used the lights from Cottage Living over the kind of peninsula in the kitchen, and I think that looked nice to use those as sort of like pendulum lights. Is that pendant lights? Yeah, that's the word. And then in the office, I realized that it was feeling a little bit empty, so I also add in a bookcase, and that kind of helps fill in the space, I feel. And I'll also add in a cork board, which, of course fits into an office. And I'm not sure, but I kind of wish, if the cork board doesn't, I wish it had more functionality to like add different items to it. Because I know right now you can pretty much just add postcards. So you have to let me know if it does more than that, because I haven't actually checked that before. But that is pretty much going to wrap it up for me, and then I will leave you with the screenshots. Thank you so much for watching today. I really appreciate it. I know there's a million things you could be doing instead, so it means a lot. If you like the video, please leave a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Thank you so much. Have a great day.